Welsh cakes aren't just cakes that are made in Wales. No, they are a traditional afternoon tea cake. Well, they're sort of a cross between a pancake, a scone, a tea cake, and a cookie. They're really, really yummy, and they have a whole lot of character. Let me show you how to make them. Come on. Tishan Lekwan. Oh, Tishan Ariman. What is he talking about? Has he lost the plot? No, that is Welsh for Welsh cakes. And why is he speaking Welsh? Well, this week, or maybe it's next week, is St. David's Day or St. David's Day. And that is the Welsh national holiday. That's why I decided to do Welsh cakes. And Tishan Lekwan or Ariman is basically words for bake stone, because they're cakes that you bake on a stone. Crazy. You don't put them in the oven. You put them on a hot stone. Now, I don't have a hot stone in my kitchen, but I do have a griddle pan. And that's probably the closest thing I'm going to get to a hot stone. But actually, you could use a large frying pan. That would work just as well. The good thing about a griddle pan is that it's nice and flat and you can get in there with your spatula. So, in fact, what else do we need? We'll need a spatula. We'll need a large bowl, perhaps some scales, cup measurers, but I've put all the quantities are in the description below. And as usual, I break it down step by step because this is the Little Foodies series where I make cooking easy and fun. All right, what else? A cooling rack. That would be helpful. And of course, a rolling pin to roll out the dough and a pastry cutter, that sort of size. If you don't have one, just use a glass or something like that. Oh, did I say whisk? I can't remember. But that's handy, not essential, but good to whisk up the dry ingredients. Speaking of dry ingredients, let's take a look at our ingredients. We'll need 2 cups of self-raising flour. Now, that's about 250 grams. And the basis of this is a short crust dough. Here, I've split it. So we've got 75 grams of butter and 75 grams of lard. That's equal to about 1/3 of a cup or 2.5 ounces. But look, if you don't have any lard or shortening, don't worry, just use butter. Then there's 30 grams of sugar, which is about 2.5 tablespoons, and 1 level teaspoon of mixed spice, 70 grams of currants. So I'm using currants. It's about 1/2 cup. You could do a little bit less or a little bit more, depending on how many you like. You could also use something like raisins or sultanas. It works just as well. And then we've got 1 large egg and a pinch of salt. If you're not sure how much a pinch is, because obviously, depending on how big your fingers, it's going to be a bit of a different size. Really, it's just about that much, which is about 1/4 of a teaspoon, I'd say. So you can just use a measurer to be on the safe side. Right, let's get cracking. So grab a bowl, super easy. What we're going to do is first, let's put all our dry ingredients into the bowl, apart from these currants. Now, they're dried fruit. Are they dry or are they, well, they're not wet, are they? But they sort of go somewhere in between. Anyway, we're going to hold off on putting those in because they go in at the end once we've got the dough sorted. So give those a little bit of a mix like that. And then we're going in with this butter. Now the butter is at room temperature. And it's a good idea to do that for this one. I know for the short crust pastry, which is similar, I said have cold butter for that. But this is easier. And we're also going to put in the lard at the same time. Now, you see me going in here with my fingers. And some people think that is icky and ooh and nasty. But I'm here to tell you, happens all the time. The thing is, is that you just want to get those hands clean as can be. So before you start any cooking, go and have a good scrub up. Get those hands clean, and then you're good to go. Now, if you really want to, you could use gloves. Some people do that. So you see here, what I'm doing is I'm just squeezing this fat into the flour like that. We're making like little sort of cornflake shapes. We're turning it into a breadcrumb type consistency, a bit like we've done with crumble, with pastry. Now, some might say, oh, you can put this in a machine. This is not the traditional way with something like this. And I think putting it into a mixer is gonna process it too much. We don't want it as fine as that. So we want to keep some of these sort of flaky bits. So what that will do is give us a nice flaky texture to these little cakes. Almost there. You just don't want any big lumps of butter left. Sometimes at the bottom of the bowl, it gets a bit floury. We don't get down there. So make sure as you do it, every now and then, give it a bit of a mix like that with your fingers. Okay, we are there. So what we can do now, make a little bit of a well in the middle, then grab that egg, tap it on a flat surface. It's good, rather than the edge of the bowl, because then the shell doesn't go into the egg. And then carefully break that there. Now, sometimes it can be useful to break it into a bowl first, just in case any shell. Right, and then we're going to keep mixing this up. And don't worry if any gets on the work surface. You know why? Because we're going to tip it onto the work surface. So it's a good idea to find somewhere that has got plenty of space to work for that very reason. And then once we've got this here, we can put these berries in with it. Now I could have put those in with the bowl. Doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. Just want to mix it like that until it forms a bit of a dough ball. We're not going to need it. It's just to... So we've got our shaped dough. Now, get a little bit of extra flour onto that worktop. And now before we roll this out, I'm going to turn on my griddle pan so that starts to warm up. You might need help with that, be really careful. And I'm also going to have a bit of a tidy up. All right, so grab your dough and that rolling pin, and we want to have a bit extra flour on the rolling pin. Now, it is quite a short dough, so it will break up, but don't worry. We don't have to move it around as much as with pastry. Okay. It wants to be about somewhere between a centimetre, half a centimetre and a centimetre, about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, then, so that heat should be on a medium-low heat. That's almost ready. And these are going to go straight on. So we're just going to... Now, if you wanted, there's nothing to stop you making these into different shapes. If you've got cutters that are in different shapes, they won't be traditional anymore, but I don't think anyone's going to come and arrest you. Could be wrong. Look, our pan is hot. I can see a bit of heat coming off of it. So make sure it's turned down, and then these are just going to go straight on to the pan. Just be very careful. If that pan is seasoned, or if it's a non-stick pan, you can just put those straight on, because they've already got that fat that's in the dough. All right, we're going to leave those cooking for about 3, maybe 4 minutes on one side. We'll see how they go. Keep an eye on them. While that's happening, we can finish rolling out the rest of our dough here. Just put it back up into a ball. If you've got a little bit of dough left over like that, you could put it in the middle and push it down, and then you've still got a whole one. It's not very flat though, is it? So let's just give it a little bit of a roll. There we go. No one's gonna know. Who's gonna know? How will they know? Right, let's have a look here. Oh, I think we're almost ready to turn. If you're not sure when to turn them, because it has been now 3 minutes, I had it turned down quite low. If you're not sure, take one and just have a look like that gently, and you see that's got some nice color. So that's ready to turn. And chances are, if that one's ready, the others are ready. Maybe not, because sometimes the pan has different temperatures in different parts. And also, we didn't put them all on at the exact same time. So they might be at different stages, but let's have a look. That one's good. That one's good. Oh, that one's good. It's good. Just got to be careful. Oh, that one's a bit lighter, you see. And then another 2-3 minutes on the second side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over there so that can be ready to put the cooked ones in. Okay, that's been another couple of minutes. Let's see if they're done. Ooh, that is very much done. Yep, that's done. Oh dear, dropped it. Now, guys, I'm using my fingers and I realize that's not a very good example because they are hot. Oops. And let's get another batch on there straight away. And what we'll do as well, while these have just come off, so let's put a little bit of dusting of sugar on those while they cool down. That's been 2-3 minutes. Have a look at one, flip it over, and you can see we want that golden color. So that's probably good. And let's do the rest. See how the rest look. Oh yeah. And when you turn it, you just want to give it a good firm, just flip like that. Easier to manage than big old pancakes, eh? Right, okay, I've just turned that off. This last batch is ready. And final dusting. And you see how easy that was? Once they're cooled, you can transfer them to a plate. Look at these little beauties, guys. Don't they look amazing? And they smell absolutely divine. It's not quite tea time yet, but I think it's time for a taste. Mmm. Mmm. Really good. It's sort of like a flaky, they're flakier than a cookie. They're not like a pancake at all. But they're sort of their own thing. You've got to try these out. Really good. Really, really good. They'll probably keep for a few days in an airtight container. But to be honest, I don't think they're going to last that long. Guys, thanks for watching. And be sure to check out the rest of the series, the Little Foodies series, where I break down and make cooking accessible. Let me know how you get on. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell button. Next week, there's another national holiday. Well, not really a national holiday, maybe in some parts, Pancake Day. What are we going to make? We're going to make pancakes. Not only that, we're going to go for the American fluffy style, and we're going to make them extra fluffy. So make sure to tune in, get all the tips and tricks, and I'll see you there. And now you know that, well, that's how you make Welsh cakes.